Alright, I'm going to be upfront with you guys. This video is 100% true, and there's so much that happened as it happened over the course of a few weeks. So I had to shorten it down to the most important and good parts that I at least remember. And thanks for coming to the channel if you watch my videos, and welcome if you are new. So grab yourself something to eat, take your shit, and enjoy the ride, as this might be a long video. What the fuck is up, my gump children? How art thou as be? Because thou as Lord doth consider fucking killing himself. Yes, it does seem like the final option. When faced with tough decisions and challenges in life like going to college, world hunger, or even what you should eat for dinner, there's always an additional answer. Just kill yourself. It's pretty easy nowadays, you know? Your mother died in your arms? Slit your wrists. Can't decide if guac is too much on your burrito? Jump in front of a semi. There. All problems solved. Now, today, children, I have a story of gumps triumphing in a world in which gumps are frowned upon and even fucking slaughtered in the street for money. True story. Somewhat. May our gump brother rest in peace. I'm kidding, he's okay. Well, at least like alive okay. He got shot in the dick and face, but story time. So again, going back to beautiful Camp Marriott, I have a previous story in which I talk about this wonderful land. For the first time I got a girl's number. I'll put like an annotation or like a card or something for the video, so you can go watch that if you haven't. It might be insightful into this tale, so yeah. Go do that. So your gump man, better known as Little Bailey, worked at a little Boy Scout camp over the summer called Camp Marriott. While there, he was adored by all the little scouts. All of them loved the shit out of him. I seriously enjoyed it like all the other staff, some of whom would try so fucking hard to get their attention and love and stuff. Now, one in particular, his name will be Pedo Bear. Now, Pedo Bear isn't what you are probably imagining. He isn't an old perv with a fantasy for little children. Well, kinda. He is at least straight, so no little boys. He drove this old piece of shit car that had like a large exhaust, or however you pronounce it, and could be heard from fucking miles away. He was 20-something and also had this annoying little like bear paw tattoo on his chest that I always saw as he was in the charge of like the aquatics area. During the weeks on Fridays, there is always a big bonfire, like campfire thing we do, where we do skits, songs, and such for the scouts, or even with them sometimes. But during the first week, all the troops decided to do the bonfire themselves. So the guy that was assigned to be in charge went up and asked if any of the staff wanted to do a skit or something. Now, I was sitting in the back of this like outdoor auditorium with a few other staff members. We didn't say anything. We didn't want to get in the way. It started off small, but it gradually grew. Bailey, 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 Bailey. Everyone was fucking freaking out, dude. Honestly, I was getting kind of hyped. Like, shit, should I go down and do something? Like, I was kind of like, what? My 10th mate, his name was Philip. Felipe? Yeah, we'll go with that. He offered that we go down and, like, sing a song. But by the time I made a decision, it was too late, as the program bitch ass calms everyone down. I noticed that Pedo Bear went really quiet, like when before he kept commenting on a lot of things. His obnoxious douchebag attitude turned stone cold. I felt it, but I didn't think much about it. Later, I do go up to help with the skit for a troop. Now, I am no actor, but when I got up, everyone went fucking mad, like I was a celebrity, dude. The skit was the best, hands down, and I had such a good time. Now, this part kinda leads into another story I will save for later, so I'm trying to be wise with my words. After the bonfire, I noticed most of the other staff members got really salty, including Pedo Bear. After that night in the morning, that group of scouts leaves and the next batch comes in. So during the next few weeks, I go on as normal. The kids are always excited to see me for whatever reason. Like, I never understood why all of these scouts and teens, some of them were actually older than me at the time, would go up to a gump such as myself. I was told I was cool or funny, or I don't even know. However, some scouts started relaying information back to me, like they were my spies almost. They asked me, why did most staff hate me? When I was asked, I was like, what do you mean? Well, Bailey, I saw Pedo Bear call you a jackass and a fuckboy. Who did he say that to? a bunch of scouts. Now, I was bothered as it was a rule not to swear in front of the scouts. I followed this rule, but it was obvious some didn't, which was fucking stupid as a bunch of other staff did it. I kept my cool, mentioned it to the camp director, and went on with my business. Nothing really happened after that. Kind of. Some time passes, and we get a new employee joining us, a female we will call Daisy. Now, Daisy was a fine-looking specimen and was my age at the time. Now, staff at a Boy Scout camp don't really get a lot of female workers, as you can imagine. So we had a few, and they were like batshit crazy, or even just ugly. But I remember her walking to the admin building where it was only staff and my friend Copper, who was next to me at the table, told me she was a good-looking girl. I agreed that she was. Now, her alone is entirely a different story, so she will be mentioned only necessity. Long story short, we became a thing. We kept it on the DL for the most part, but one day in middle of June, something happened to me. It was a Friday night, campfire time. I remember sitting in the back of the auditorium again, and then I saw a pedo bear run on this makeshift stage we had. It was just like pieces of like wood and mulch and other shit. He ran on, and it was him and another person. He scanned the crowd and finally caught my gaze and pulled his smile into this grin. And it bothered me a little bit, but I kept it quiet. But when campfire does end, at the end of the campfire, we go up and we like sing this borderline slave song. I fucking know it. Like, if you ask me to sing it, I'll fucking sing it to you, dude. I know all the words, and it's straight up a slave song. But anyway, as we sing the song, all the scouts leave to retire before the night. After they leave, we put out two of the two bonfires that are used for like lighting. There's also spotlights, but those don't really get used until later of the bonfire. And then after that, the commissioner, like the guy who's in charge of maintenance of the camp, tells us something before we head off, like generally news and stuff, before we head off to like staff site and go to bed. After he finished speaking, I let out my anger. I didn't punch anyone, I promise. I mean, I probably should have punched that fucking moron, but I'd probably get my ass kicked because I was a little kid. Not really little, but you get it. I sprinted off into the woods faster than I've ever gone before, honestly. Like, my emotion was put into my legs, dude. Now, I was not concerned for my safety at all. Like, if I were to trip on some shit, I would have fucking died, honestly. That's how fast I was going, you know? The fucking velocity of my face smashing into some fucking rocks, dude. Fucking brain splatter fucking everywhere. Oh, boy. I ran into the dark of the woods, past admin, past the commissary, into the staff site, into my tent, and onto my bed. My breath was heavy with anger, dude. I stormed off into a shower room and locked myself in until I calmed down. The back-talking to the scouts was still happening, which was ridiculous. Like, I remember one time there was this, like, canoe overnighter where a bunch of scouts got into canoes and stayed the night somewhere across the lake. Some of the kids were talking about me, and at the mention of my name, Pedo Bear shot them down. Like, fuck you. I'm just kidding, he didn't say that shit, but... it was when two of them started chanting that he capsized their fucking canoe, dude. He capsized their fucking canoe because they started chanting my name. What the fuck? But the guy was a fucking dick, okay? 2 days after the campfire, me and Daisy were in my tent together, and she told me that Pedo Bear was harassing her for sex. And I was fucking steaming. She told me she didn't want to tell, like, anyone or say anything because she didn't want it to be her. That is the reason why someone would lose their job. She said not to tell anyone or fight him or do anything. She said she was scared to walk alone now, but she insisted that I still not say anything. She just wanted me to walk with her, like, to her tent from now on and be with her as much as possible and keep it secret, which bothered me a lot, but I agreed. That lasted about 3 days, the secret. I couldn't take it. I remember one time I was walking with her when Pedo Bear was passing us to go to staff site as we were leaving that place. He stopped and said, "Hey, Daisy, high five," and stuck out his hand like a fucking gump, dude, and just waited there for a second. And then she high-fived him and he ran off like a... What the fuck? Man. I just kept my eye on him and just thought this couldn't happen forever. I couldn't keep this secret, dude. That night, after the 3 days, so Tuesday, was when the area I work with, or Scoutcraft, does like this wilderness survival overnighter, right? Where we take a bunch of scouts. It's like the canoeing overnighter shit. It's pretty fucking sweet, honestly. It was cool that night as like everyone in my area, as well as the program director, better known as second in fucking command, we all decided to go off for the night with the scouts instead of just having like two chaperone. After some time, the program director comes around and I tell her about the whole situation. I just wanted him to be gone. She says I did the right thing, and I know I did, but nothing fucking happened. He wasn't fired or anything. Nothing happened. Nothing happened to the fucking pedo. That I knew of, except for maybe a warning from the camp director. Like, I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know if anything actually happened by my knowledge. But I was pissed. Like, that shouldn't have happened, I guess. Something else. He should have been fired, but, you know, I don't know. I don't know how these things work. But I didn't let it get to me. I confessed to Daisy, and she was fucking mad. She got mad at me a lot there. But we made it. We made up, you know. We always made up. So once all the scouts for the year left, we would start to tear down the camp, which took a couple of days. One night, however, I thought I was alone at staff site and decided to sneak over to Pedo Bear's tent. Kind of peeked inside, saw no one was there, and then I snuck inside. And in that moment, I knew I had to fuck with him. Not like fucking, but, you know. I looked around and thought to maybe steal something. No. Do something with his shit. No. But then it hits me. Pee on his pillow. So that's what I fucking did, dude. After I threw all of his shit around the tent, I whipped it out and started pissing on his pillow. I dashed out of there into the woods and worked my way back to my tent. The next morning, we were sweeping the area for trash, and I noticed Pedo Bear didn't shower that morning. Like, honestly, I looked suspicious as fuck, laughing to myself. Like, I laughed a good minute, and then, like, people just looked at me weird. Once all of my area got together to clean up our stuff, which included Daisy as she worked with me in our area, we got to work packing stuff up. Our area director told us to, like me and Daisy, to go wrap up all of the ropes we baked in the field so they wouldn't get moldy and shit. While out there, we talked a fair amount and joked. Like, I started laughing from the whole peeing on the Pedo Bear's pillow thing. Then she got curious and asked, like, why the hell I was laughing. I told her I peed on Pedo Bear's pillow. Oh, fuck. See that alliteration, bitch? and I told her that he didn't shower in the morning or even notice. She was kind of grossed out at first, but laughed, and I joined in. The laughter died down, and when she went all quiet, she dropped her rope, walked over, and hugged me. I was kind of confused at first, as she is never the one to initiate the hug, you know? I asked, why did you hug me all of a sudden? And she said, I'm going to miss you. I never saw Pedo Bear again. I'm not sure where or what he is doing now, but I probably won't give a shit either way. Asher, my brother, when you are watching this, I'm sorry to know that Pedo Bear wasn't who you thought he was. Like, there was one time that you, Daisy, and Pedo Bear were all under a tarp by the lake, and Pedo Bear made you go rake the sand or some shit. While you were off, he harassed Daisy. I'm sorry, dude, if you watch this. Oh, and Pedo Bear, if you're watching now, fuck you! And as always, like if you enjoyed, and if you seriously like watching my shit, subscribe. And as always, you gumps get my stegosaurus nice and hard. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you gumps at home.